can't wait for that one. Right, it's one of the oldest countryside traditions and has taken place in southeast England for centuries. Coppicing is the art of cutting back trees and shrubs to allow a sustainable supply of timber over many generations.
Only in Kent and Sussex is it practiced on a large-scale commercial basis, with most of the crops sold as firewood. But those keeping alive the ancient technique say it could hold the key to a green future. Derek Johnson reports.
Sometimes it's done by machine. And sometimes by more traditional methods.
Coppicing is cutting trees down at ground level and allowing them to regrow from there. So coppicing is the cutting of the trees. I think it comes from the French couper, to cut.
Coppice woodland is the cutting of wood which will regenerate itself by regrowing. It's normally, with chestnut, it's normally cut on a 12-year cycle or longer, minimum of 12 years.
How does coppicing work then? Well, you start off with your full-grown tree. Come the winter time, you cut it right down so there's just a stump remaining. As early as the following spring, new shoots will start to grow up again. And then you just wait 7 to 20 years until you have another full-grown tree ready to harvest once more. It sounds a long time, it is a long time, but in a site like this near Ashford, coppiced since records began. It leads to a constant and sustainable source of timber and the long-term preservation of the woods themselves. So just explain where we are now. This is a man-made clearing, is it?
Yeah, we cut this last year. We've been gradually pulling the timber out with the horses, and as you can see, the coppice is already regrowing again. The majority of the wood is sold for firewood, so that's where we get some kind of return, or at least break even on our efforts. There's a carpet of bluebells coming up here, so in order to avoid damaging or killing too many bluebell bulbs, we've used the tops and the branches from the trees to make a dead hedge around the plot, which demarcates the plot for us. Don't have to have so many fires, at the added benefit of creating habitat for small rodents and birds to nest in.
There are many types of wood involved. Some have been commercial crops in the southeast for centuries, used in everything from shipbuilding to iron making. Taking a chainsaw to ancient woodland may be the last thing many people want to see, but the fact is that a coppice tree can live many times longer than one that's never been cut down at all. In 20 years' time, the clearing will look just like the thick woods the other side of this man-made barrier. But does this oldest of arts have a long-term future?
There's not so many people about doing it now. It was a dying trade, but it seems to be coming back a little bit at the moment. There seems to be a few more people wanting to try and have a go at it. It's very hard work and it's a job to find labour. We're lucky to get somebody who lasts more than a day cutting the wood.
If we're looking to values for today, and society is telling us that we want to conserve biodiversity and then we have to do something about global warming, and then there's a possibility, of course, that coppice woodlands, which are very important for biodiversity and also can capture and store carbon, especially when you use the coppice products for things like fences and pieces of furniture. It means you're storing carbon up and growing it again. So there may be possibilities in the not too distant future of coppice workers obtaining part of their income from helping to combat climate change and protecting biodiversity.
The coppicing season ends this month. The woods and clearings will soon teem with flowering plants and wildlife until it all begins again in winter. An art as old as time. Derek Johnson near Ashford for Meridian Tonight.
Fantastic.
It is, and the future looks promising from what they're saying, doesn't it?
Well, no bluebells. Well, actually, Super Sleuth here.